On a normal Rosh Hashanah, the Beth Tzedec president would stand before you, give a state of the congregation, and ask for your continued support. Last year, when I stood in this spot, I spoke about my love for Beth Tzedec. At the end of my remarks, I quoted Jonathan Safran Foer from his novel, Here I Am. He writes, "What we don't wrestle with, we let go of. Love isn't the absence of struggle, love is struggle." I then ask that you join me as we write the next chapter in the history of Beth Tzedec. There is no way that I could have predicted the struggle each and every one of us would face due to the COVID-19 pandemic, and that there was nothing in our history to prepare us for the next chapter. On March 15th, although our doors were forced shut, Beth Tzedec never closed. Our shul has always been open 365 days a year, but in the last 6 months, our spiritual leadership team have become spiritual first responders. From the moment we had to close our building, the spiritual leadership, professional, and leadership teams shifted gears completely and never looked back. I often say that this is the year of the pivot, but it has really been about the bob and weave. We were constantly adjusting our services, communications, and focus to answer the ever-growing needs of our members that were the consequences of the pandemic. I am so incredibly proud to work with each and every member of the spiritual leadership and administrative teams under the leadership of Rabbi Wernick and Randy Spiegel, respectively. When it became apparent that we would be out of the building for an extended period of time, we researched the best approach to live streaming that was true to our commitment to excellence while still fulfilling our mission to inspire and enable our community to live meaningful Jewish lives. With a generous gift from the Jack and Libby Ornstein Adult Education Institute, we were able to put into place a live streaming system that is state-of-the-art and adaptable to our changing needs. How powerful that such a gift that will see us into our future should come from the fund of one of the giants of Beth Tzedec's history. And I would also like to recognize the gift by Gabby Weisfeld that has allowed us to transform one of the most used spaces, the Hendelys Chapel, into a warm, engaging, multi-use space that can accommodate our physical distancing needs comfortably now and into the future. Our core values, connection, prayer, caring, meaning, authenticity, and spirituality remain our guiding touchstones. In March, we were forced to move online to engage with each other. Daily Minyan moved to Zoom seamlessly with Shabbat and Yom Tov services following. Our programming also made the shift online, with programs like Conversations Over Coffee, Daily Tanakh, Parashat HaShavua, and Zoom Pre-Shabbat Kiddush Club that have all proved immensely popular, viewed by literally thousands of people. We've had story time for kids, meditation services, and this year, a new initiative, Soul Brew, which began on the 1st of Elul, hosted by Rachel Bluth Rosenbluth, a child of Beth Tzedec, which inspired our mind, body, and soul. And at a moment in which our economy is upside down and millions of Canadians, even here at Beth Tzedec, are out of work or have been impacted negatively by the virus, our values remain the same. We made a commitment that membership this year is about being together. Our commitment to our people, to our kehillah, has never wavered. Already this year, we have provided more than $75,000 in financial assistance through reductions in membership contributions, and that is money we need to continue our sacred work. Even while physically closed, we could not and will not stop providing for you. Among our achievements since COVID-19 rocked our community, we were there for the members. We paired with families over Zoom for a Pesach that was unlike any we had ever celebrated to ensure that they were not alone. We were there for families who had planned bar and bat mitzvahs, only to find that they could not be in our building. Our spiritual leadership team worked with them to ensure the services over Zoom were still meaningful. And when we could gather in bubbles of 10 or more, we made sure that those families had a Torah in their homes to celebrate their children's first Aliyah. We were there for the couples who were unsure how to proceed, but knew that they wanted to be married. Chuppahs were put in backyards with rabbis over Zoom, physically distanced, but spiritually near. We were there for members who lost loved ones when attendance was severely limited at funerals. I cannot begin to imagine the added heartbreak these mourners endured, being unable to be comforted while sitting Shiva, to start staying Kaddish without the physical and emotional embrace of their community. It was for this reason that Rabbi Friar Botzen, along with Debbie Berlin, began the Lost in the Time of COVID-19 support group under the auspices of the Center for Spiritual Well-Being. And we were there to purchase groceries and medical supplies for members in need. Beth Tzedec is here for you, and now we need you to be here for your shul. Never has that ask been more important. The coming year, or maybe even the next 2 years, are cloaked in uncertainty, so I'm asking for help. Beth Tzedec is our spiritual, educational, and communal home. It connects, supports, and enriches our lives. If you are able this year to help us continue to do that with excellence, then we ask your support in just generously giving in whatever level you are able. After Rosh Hashanah, you will all receive an email which will provide information on making a gift in response to this high holiday appeal to our membership relief fund. This year, even the tab down will be virtual. If you gave last year, can you renew your pledge or increase slightly? If you were not able to give, can you do so now? Give what is comfortable for you, and then if able, give a little more. We must bridge the gap and continue to deliver on our promise to never turn anyone away for lack of finances. If you are not in the financial position to contribute, consider giving your time. Volunteers are the lifeblood of Beth Tzedec. Without our member volunteers, we could not have made thousands of phone calls in the last 6 months, organized programming, and helped plan these high holy days. Giving is measured in more than dollars. We know that when these high holy days are behind us, we are going to have to look at strategic changes to ensure the longevity and strength of Beth Tzedec. We will be guided by our vision and mission, which never change. We will continue to build a Beth Tzedec that is as relevant for our grandchildren as it has been for our grandparents. I recently watched Oprah Winfrey talking about a favorite Maya Angelou quote, "God put a rainbow in the clouds." Oprah expanded on this by saying that she is reminded of this quote every time she is on a plane. It may be dark and dreary on the ground, but after takeoff, you break through the clouds and see the sun. The sun was always there. Right now, life is uncertain and a little scary. We just have to remember that the sun is always there. Early in the pandemic, as we were all trying to get our bearings and determine how we move forward, Oscar Zimmerman sent me an interesting article about founders and ancestors. He asked me who I thought we were. Our ancestors were pioneers, trailblazers, who laid the foundation so that their children and grandchildren could have a spiritual home. Because of their foresight, we will weather this storm. My grandfather, J.B. Goldhar, was one of those ancestors. He was the first person to instill in me a deep love for Beth Tzedec and a sense of responsibility to ensure that our shul endures for generations. So now we are the ancestors, and it is up to us, all of us, to ensure that Beth Tzedec thrives, not merely survives, for our children and grandchildren. Rabbi Tarfon says in Pirkei Avot, You are not obligated to complete the work, but neither are you free to desist from it. Our ancestors did not complete the work, but they did not ignore it. I will never stop the work of guaranteeing that Beth Tzedec is here, vibrant, strong, and at the forefront of conservative Judaism for my children, grandchildren, and future generations. I hope you will join me in this vital commitment as together we will write new chapters in the inspiring story that is Beth Tzedec. On behalf of Bernie Groper and the Board of Directors, I wish you and your families a happy and healthy New Year. Shana Tova umetuka.